dome.
Yeah, it is. And, it's also the summer, so we'd expect it to be hot. We are going to start to see some relief across parts of the southeast over the next couple of days, but a lot of the activity has been a little bit more removed to our north and east. The reason for that, and you can kind of see the clusters of thunderstorms developing. This is along a stationary front. Now, unfortunately, the front is not going to get much closer to us. Does send some shower activity our way, mainly North Shore and Mississippi. I mean, we've seen some of that activity so far today. Did have a couple of little isolated downpours over parts of the city earlier, but rain coverage has been fairly limited. One thing that does help us out, even if you don't get the rain, maybe you get some passing cloud cover. That'll continue to push our way through the next couple of hours, but not soon enough that we've already hit our high temperature for the afternoon. Still plenty of sunshine out over downtown at the moment. 92 degrees, our high today, though, at Kenner got up to 95. Dew points in the 70s. Feels like the triple digits. That's pretty typical for almost August now. 80 degrees up in Macomb, where they're getting some much needed rain. Really does help to knock the temperatures down. Again, I don't think our rain chances are going to be very high tomorrow or on Saturday, because most of our rainfall will be along that boundary. One thing that does look a little bit more certain is that our temperature forecast does look to be just below the criteria for a heat advisory, or at least the heat index forecast. So we will have one more heat advisory through this afternoon, and then after that, we're done. Still can be hot though, so don't let that fool you. All of that activity that I was just pointing out is with regard to this upper troughing, hoping that this upper forcing would have forced the front a little bit farther south, but doesn't look like that is going to be the case, at least from this system. Here comes our next system. This is what pushes a cold front in for the weekend. And this upper troughing deepens much farther south, meaning it pushes farther south than the last one. And what that should help to do is get a front into the area by Sunday, and that'll be our best chance of rain. So right now, that stationary boundary likely not going to do much for our area in terms of rain. We get a little bit of the blow-off cloud cover, but otherwise any activity that develops is primarily along that boundary. So tomorrow and Saturday, I think our rain chance is about 20-30%. So not much. I was hoping it'd be a little bit higher if that boundary had been a little bit closer to us. But then here comes our best chance of rain. And this may be Sunday morning as the front approaches. That's when we get the bulk of our development in the early morning hours. And then the rest of the day will be clearing out and turning perhaps a little less humid. As I've been talking about over the last couple of days, it looks like we might get enough upper level forcing to get this front to move through and actually bring in some slightly more pleasant dew points. Slight drop in humidity is possible early to mid next week. Now, the model's not crazy with it, but they are definitely indicating a slight drop in humidity. Maybe not as apparent on this graphic from the Euro for MSY, but in Slidell, the dew points could drop into the 60s. And I tell you what, if we can get dew points into the 60s in August, that would make it feel far nicer because there wouldn't be much of a heat index at all. So you get rid of the humidity, we can tolerate 90, 91, and also dry air warms more efficiently. So even with that drier air, we're still getting into the 90s. Out in the tropics, nothing is going on, and we're not expecting any development over the next 7 days. And as I've been mentioning, most of our long-range guidance indicates that the first couple of weeks of August should be quiet. 30% chance both Friday and Saturday. Highs still in the 90s, even though maybe not quite to the criteria for a heat advisory. It is still going to be hot. Best chance of rain Sunday morning, and then perhaps turning a little less humid Monday, Tuesday, and then more of our typical pattern continuing mid to late in the week.